everybody, welcome back to the channel. So this is the GT4 Open Series, which just finished on week 12 at Suzuka. I'm in the Mercedes AMG GT4 and I qualified P5 in class. Of course, we have the LMP3 cars to contend with in this race as well, so this isn't necessarily going to be plain sailing. Now, you might notice the slightly different video format today. I've been inspired by some of the videos put together by Ben Harrison over at Broca Sim Racing, and I've always wanted to try doing something like this myself. Well, now that I've had time to play with the built-in video editing software on my PC, I thought I'd start by having a go with a longer race like this one. You'll see that I've managed to nicely cut a half-hour race in half and include most of the highlights as I see them. So as we make our way down to the casino triangle, we're just trying to settle the nerves and think about surviving into turn 1. Around me are some very talented drivers, ranging all the way up to about 4,000 iRacing, so this is going to be tough. Entering the casino triangle now, we're going to transition to a first-person perspective just in time for the lights to go green, and we're going to ride on board for the start of the race. The lights go green, and I nail the throttle to try and get a good start, but it seems as though the top 4 get a better launch, and I'm left trying to pick up a little draft or slipstream to try to make sure I don't fall too far behind. As we make our way into turn 1, it looks as though everyone around me gets through relatively neatly in single file, giving us a nice, relaxed and easy train to follow through the S's. The track temp is very warm at 42 degrees C, so grip in these opening laps on cold tyres is going to be at a premium. Jim has just given us a little heads up about the driving standards of the chap in front, and he's about to give us a little encouragement about how well the start has gone. So there's plenty to gain here, but much more to lose. Following the leaders through the Degner corners, and I'm really starting to think about pushing harder than I should to make sure I'm there in the event that an opportunity presents itself. The gap ahead is stretching and contracting in a fairly unpredictable manner at the moment, as it seems as though a lot of people are still trying to settle in. The 30 car in front goes a little wider into the hairpin, giving me an opportunity to claw back a couple of tenths, but manages somehow to stretch the gap a little bit more on the exit. Sprinting down this flat-out section of track now and barreling into what I believe to be one of the trickiest corners on the course, Spoon Curve, I still feel as though I'm falling behind somehow. But I get a decent exit out of the corner, enabling me to stay reasonably close to Anton as we hurtle along into 130R.
Incident in Casino Triangle. Just ignore him, he'll
I
go
throw the
away.
car into 130R, and on the exit my eyes are drawn to Adrian's number 6 Mercedes, as he's apparently spun his car out of nowhere. At the time I had no idea why this could have happened, but we get to have a look at the replay next. Watching Adrian's car now as he goes through 130R, and we can see on the exit his car goes a little too wide, dipping a tyre off the outside edge of the curb, taking away all the traction and turning him around. Anton tries to avoid by going off the track but gets caught out by Adrian's unpredictable car, and Adrian is left stranded in the middle of the road, trying to get going again. We skip forward now to lap number 2 as we enter 130R for the second time. There's not a lot going on around me right now, so you might be wondering what on earth is so exciting here. Well, keep an eye in the rearview mirror as we enter Casino Triangle, and you'll see car number 30 appear very close to car number 18, and all kinds of mayhem break out behind me. I wasn't sure what happened at the time, but looking at the replay on board with car number 7, we get a great view of everything unfolding. It looks as though car number 30 gets caught out by car 18 braking and chooses to go to the inside to avoid. Car 7 doesn't react quickly enough and gently bumps 30 out of the way. Skipping forward again to lap 3, again on the way into 130R, there's nothing here that might immediately suggest excitement. But as I throw the car into the corner, I get a warning of a slow car ahead and see Christian mowing the grass on the left-hand side. I take advantage of his mistake as we go into Casino Triangle, and that brings us up to the third step of the podium by the end of lap 3. The downside, though, is that I now have a 4.1k driver immediately behind me. Let's have a look at the replay then and follow Christian in the 130R using this drone cam. And as we go through the corner, we'll see the wheel lets go on him, and he's looking not to put the car nose first into the wall. He's still going though, and as I go through, it looks as though this isn't going to slow him down too much. He's still very tight to me as we go through Casino Triangle and run to the start of the next lap. Jumping ahead to lap 4 as we barrel down this flat out section of track, I'm obviously beginning to feel the pressure from Christian because I get it wrong into spoon, clipping the grass on the outside under braking, which nearly snaps the car into a spin. I'd catch the car but have to give up the position for the sake of keeping the car pointing in the right direction.
Bad luck,
What
mate.
follows is simply going to be a few minutes of me trying desperately to stay in his wake to take advantage of his slipstream before he inevitably gets away. While we're watching this, I'd just like to ask that if you haven't already, please leave a like on the video if you're enjoying this one, and I'll endeavour to do more like this. This is an awful lot of work though, so I probably won't be doing this every week. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we're so very close to reaching 300 subscribers, and I'd love for you to become part of this community. Remember to leave a comment down below to let me know how you think this one went, and give me feedback on this video format. Any and all advice is welcome. I'll admit some of the voiceover audio might be a little inconsistent because I don't have a great mic, and I've had to break this script down into very small chunks to get it all in and not drive myself mad trying to record one long take. Now I'll shut up and let you enjoy what's left of this clip without me droning on. We're jumping ahead now to lap 6 as Christian has well and truly gotten away from me. I'm now realising that I'm going to need an awful lot more than simple luck if I want to hold on to a top 5 spot. As we approach turns 1 and 2, Andrew sets up an opportunity to lunge up my inside into turn 2, spooking me out of the way. As we exit the corner, we're still very much side by side, and approaching the S's, I decide discretion is the better part of valour and choose to lift rather than risk throwing away the race for a position I'm not likely to keep anyway. Once again, I'm going to keep quiet while we enjoy this footage of me pushing too hard to keep up with Andrew.
The next car is Braneski, car number 7, B license, and their rating is 3.7.
Once again, I've let another driver get away from me, so we're going to skip ahead to lap number 9 for our next highlight. As we enter the hairpin, we can see the prototypes up ahead, and at this point most have made their way through the GT4 field. Looking at the relative, and in the mirror, I've got Maurizio in car number 2 following closely behind. I deliberately race without this information live, but I know now that this guy at the time of recording was rated a shade under 5k iRating. As we enter Spoon, we see a prototype going for a spin on the outside, and I try my best not to let it distract me. But I feel like I'm a little late getting to the apex for the second part of the corner, which means it provides an opportunity for Maurizio to try his best to put his grill in my boot as we climb the hill towards 130R, and I'm now desperately willing him not to try to overtake into the upcoming corner. As we transition to an off-board shot, I think you could throw a blanket over both of our cars as we barrel through 130R. I know I haven't executed the corner very well and decide to embrace the inevitable and give Maurizio the inside in the hope that he'll pull me along for a little while to keep me out of reach of the chap in P7.
Car right.
Going back on board, we're going
Clear
to
right.
follow along for about half a lap or so, while I again do everything I can not to get left in the dust.
6th place. 10 minutes remaining, 10 minutes. Okay, Dan, the next car is Mauricio, car number 2, and their rating is 4.9. Car behind's a faster class.
It looks like Maurizio has
It's
well and
split in,
truly gotten
smooth
away,
curve.
so we're going to jump forward to lap number 11 to find that Rom in P7 is now looking dangerous. He might not look too close in the mirror, but as we swap to an off-board shot, you can see just how small that gap really is. At this point in the race, I'm really starting to get concerned that I'm going to end up losing another position, and I really don't want to be going backwards anymore. As we skip ahead to lap 12, take a glance at my fuel calculator. At the
Make him do
moment,
all the
this
work.
overlay is
Focus on your
predicting that I'm
exits.
going to run out of fuel
Quicker than
before
you
the checkered
entering
flag,
the hairpin.
and that at my current burn rate, I'm frustrated to see that I need as little as 200 millilitres of fuel to make it to the end. Rom gets very close as we go through the hairpin, and I'm now torn, trying to work out whether I can keep the position while trying to save enough fuel to get to the end, while also beating myself up for not sticking an extra couple of litres in for safety's sake. Rom has a glance at the inside as we brake for Spoon, but this quickly backfires on him on corner exit, opening up a relatively huge 0.4 second gap between us. Sprinting up the hill towards 130R, I breathe a short sigh of relief as I realise I can use this gap to save a little fuel. So I lift nice and early for the corner, trading time for fuel and allowing Rom to close the gap to an uncomfortable 0.3 seconds on the way into the Casino Triangle. I manage to stay ahead as we exit the chicane and we come back on lap 14. Jim comes on the radio to tell me that this is the last lap of fuel, while all of my
This is the
overlays
last
are
lap of
reminding
fuel.
me that
Sector
they're
1 is
expecting another lap
0.5 off the
after this
pace.
one.
You're 2/10 off
I
the
am
pace in Sector
almost
2. Sector
completely
3
in
is
panic mode.
0.29
My
off
overlays
the
are now
pace.
telling me that I'll just have enough fuel to get to the end as long as I save as much fuel as I did on lap 13 for the remainder of the race. As of this moment, I don't think I could be in a worse spot. I need to carefully balance fuel saving with pace to try to give myself the best chance of finishing ahead of Rom. Neither of those things are a given at this point. However, it seems like luck finally came back to help, because as we approach the Degners, I start getting shown the blue flag. Out of nowhere, to save my race, the leader in the prototype class blasts through to overtake us both. This was massive, because the leader was being shown the white flag, which meant that I was now being shown the white flag as well. I now only had to keep Ron behind me for another half a lap, and I suddenly had an extra lap's worth of fuel in the tank, which meant I could now bin off the fuel saving and push hard to keep him behind me until the end of the race. Unfortunately, it appeared as though Rom also got the other end of this memo and quickly understood that this was now his last chance to pick off another position. So we'll see over the next few corners, he starts looking like a very credible threat.
In this lap.
Approaching 130R for the final time, and naturally I don't get it quite right, so I decide to go very defensive into Casino Triangle. This seems to be enough to deter a late lunge and secures me a 6th place finish. Overall, this was a fantastic race that saw me coming away clearing another iRacing milestone. Thank you all so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.